Welcome to the June Energy Forecast, and this is the Inspiring You Show, and I'm Henry. So this is a vibrational experience, remembering of the truth of who we are. Content is let encoded to assist you in your journey if you wish to receive for your highest good. If you want a much longer version that has examples and other insightful tips and tools, plus the dowsing based off the energies of the month to support you, then consider becoming either a paid subscriber to the Inspiring You podcast or joining the Inspiring You All Access Patreon. Because, friends, we did this incredible workshop the other day for the All Access Patreon that is going to be available soon for the Inspiring You paid podcast. And I tell you, I just felt so inspired by being a part of the community. And after we did the dowsing for the based on the energy of the month, I turned off the recording and just, heard some of the experiences that people had, and as well as other intentions that have been manifesting and just miracles that have come in. And I just feel so profoundly grateful and inspired to be a part of this. And even though it's been challenging at times in terms of some of the things that's happening globally, you know, I just had a real moment of just great gratitude, and appreciation for just this humaning experience, which can be so incredible and amazing, yet also so complicated, and just grateful for the tools. So with that, my friends, let us dig into what is happening in June. So first of all, can you believe we're already halfway through the year? Time is flying by. The first theme of this month is really to see how you are doing. The month of May had a lot of increased cosmic energies that just swooped in that didn't really allow for a lot of integration time. So, my friends, let's do a mindful check in. How are you doing? Take a moment right now, check in. If you want, close your eyes, lower your gaze, and take a nice deep breath. Check in. How are you? How are you really doing? And however it is, just honoring where you are in your space right now, giving yourself gratitude for showing up, for being here, and much, much love. So, with that, my friends, let us talk about the other themes of the month. So, we have been detoxing old programming since the solar flares came in during May, and we will continue to purge heavier energies throughout June. So, this is part of what is making the energy sometimes feel, if you will, off, because when these lower energies surface within us, they're being called to be cleared. But what can happen is if we haven't had enough time to clear, process, and integrate new energies, whoo, for the human, it can cause frenzied energy in the system. And basically, it's these heavy energies that are being cleared, but you may not have noticed them before, or they may have been dormant. And then with this higher light that's coming in, it's this opportunity, but still the human needs time to clear, process, integrate, recalibrate the systems, if you will. So with June, this month, June has been moving in fast. I mean, I started feeling the energies of June the last week of May. So this month is moving in fast with incredible power to bring greater light, love, wisdom, and understanding to the world, especially in transformative and transformational times like these when light energy is needed more than ever. So after quantum leaping through May, we arrived at the blue skies and green waters of June. It brings powerful energies to bring clearing opportunities, to begin clearing karmic conflicts in personal and global relationships, along with what else is clearing is energetic attacks on the nervous system. So we are also still integrating the past influxes of energies and reclaiming lost or fragmented aspects of the soul. And if you are in the Inspiring You All Access Patreon or the paid subscriber, during the dowsing of the month, we did do a soul retrieval protocol that connects to reclaiming lost fragmented aspects of self. So if you are interested in that, after you listen to this, head to either one and either become, if you wish, a member, or if you already are, let yourself do that dowsing energy session, because it was, like I said, I mean, I felt amazing afterwards. And dowsing energy for me has been such a transformative tool in my life. So, but whatever works for you, check in to see if it will support you, and if it's something that if it's a tool that you like to work with, because there are so many incredible modalities as well. And I also like to layer modalities too. So, all right, the energy forecast for this month reveals a rich and marvelous green. It's an evolution of the turquoise energy we felt throughout May, with the transition occurring in the final days of the month. The green energy encourages you to take a deep, nourishing breath, releasing a layer of tension that may have lingered so long that you forgot it wasn't natural or an essential part of you. Green evokes a sense of abundance and is often linked to feelings of refreshment, peace, and security. So, when you're surrounded by green, you tend to feel rested and at ease. And that's why if you've ever gone on to a TV show, or if you've heard of the word green rooms, so green rooms are where people can relax before going on camera. So many practitioners even choose green decor for their offices to put their patients at ease. So interestingly, green also connects to the heart chakra, symbolizing love and relationships. So while green is about the giving and receiving, pink is also seen as the color of unconditional love, providing a soft, nurturing vibe. But green is more the focus this month, but you may also see hints of pink as well. So, with this, my friends, it is, we're being called on another level to let go of old patterns and programs, letting them dissolve, easing long-standing grief, reconnecting with your natural energy and with your heart chakra, allowing the opportunities, if it hasn't already, awakened to a whole nother level, connecting to that high heart and connecting in with this vibrant green energy. It supports in terms of that awakening and connecting, and also awakening your root chakra. So this then allows the opportunity to explore, really attending to what you need, what's being called for you, attending to your physical needs, also your sensuality, your pleasures, what brings you joy, and deeply connecting with yourself and your loved ones as well. So during this high energy period, it is essential to be mindful of your thoughts and words as they shape your reality. Focus on discerning truth from falsehood. Avoid engaging in spreading any kind of non-beneficial information, or, if you will, misinformation. Embrace the opportunity to transform your mindset by rewiring your brain and adopting fresh approaches to living, communicating, and thinking. Really, really shifting into that, growth wise mindset, or a high dimension, multi-dimensional growth wise mindset. So we'll also be talking more about that as one of the themes later on. June is generally known as the sixth month. However, June's collective numerology for 2024 is a 5, representing freedom, curiosity, adventure, and change. The energy of the number 5 also resonates with the following: adaptability, versatility, unexpected blessings, opportunities, the integration of the physical, and also life changes, new opportunities, and spiritual freedom. So with that then comes into one of the themes of this month: embrace your own empowerment. Embrace your own empowerment. So reach out, embrace the world that you wish to create. No dream is too big, as long as you remain open-hearted to the dream possibilities and grounded. So reach out and embrace the world you wish to create. No dream is too big, as long as you remain open-hearted to the dream possibilities and also stay grounded. So with that, This month, we do have the solstice, which approaches on June 20th. The June solstice is the solstice on Earth that occurs annually between the 20th and the 22nd. And in the Northern Hemisphere, the June solstice is in the summer solstice. And then in the Southern, it is the winter solstice. So with this, take some time if that feels right for you during that, maybe doing a retreat or even some meditation or connecting with nature, whatever you feel called to. So you'll feel a fundamental expansion in the energy surrounding you and within you this month. This will deeply influence your root chakra, where you find a sense of belonging, connection, the discovery of also possibly, if you haven't already connected with your soul family, you're also connecting in with sensuality and untapped potential. So untapped potential is big this month. There will be powerful energy in June, but instead of feeling overwhelmed by its intensity, make sure to keep using your tools to support. But we are going to get into the overwhelm a bit more. So make sure to use your tools though. So sometimes it's perfectly fine to take a pause, to take a mindful moment, take a pause, or even step back and observe rather than fully immerse yourself. There is no, right or wrong here. It's about making the choice that feels right for you in the moment and keep using your tools. So this month mirrors that sentiment, and June, July, and August are set to bring in dynamic and expansive energy. When we look at the atmosphere, the colors and the vibrations seem to burst flowing towards. So over the next few months, we have the opportunity to gradually build up, decidingly repeatedly whether to maintain our distance or to open up to more connection. My friends, I have opted for more connection, groundedness, and being inspired. Anybody else want to join me? So take a moment to check in with yourself and see where you stand. And keep this question in mind as the next 3 months unfold. By the end of August, you might find yourself in a completely different place emotionally and mentally. So now is an excellent time to focus on the heart and the root chakras, tapping into connecting to your heart and your higher, even your high heart and your higher self soul and your connection to the root, the earthy, fiery wisdom. So here are some reflection questions that can support you. How can you welcome more joy into your heart? How can you welcome more joy into your heart? In what ways can you celebrate life more fully? In what ways can you celebrate life more fully? What new possibilities can you embrace today? What new possibilities can you embrace today? How can you connect more deeply with a sense of belonging within you? How can you connect more deeply with a sense of belonging within you? So June is about energy enhancements. Enhancements this month target not only what I was talking about, the root chakra, also the heart chakra, but also the third eye, promoting skills like clairvoyance and claircognizance. So enhancements this month target that third eye, promoting skills like clairvoyance and claircognizance. Additionally, they support if you are interested in channeling, divine writing, and heightened connections with high vibrational spirit guides for the highest good. These gifts activate for those with soul contracts to develop them now. But remember, these abilities often require daily practice and grow incrementally rather than switching on instantly, because it's just also sometimes better for the human to have it in slow spurts rather than something that could be so shocking that could that could affect the human system. So that's why sometimes it happens. Sometimes you will get something that comes on like immediately. You're like, whoa, it's on. But then it will oftentimes just grow incrementally. So it switches on, but then it's growing incrementally. That is my experience with it, as well as with many of my clients and other practitioners that I've talked to. But again, you know what? There's all kinds of different experiences, and for you, it might be different. So just stay open and set those intentions to whatever it is that that you're interested in. How these energies reach the earth. There are certain locations on earth that are beneficial gateways or energy beneficial vortexes that act as beneficial portals for beneficial energies to enter the earth. So think of them as Earth's chakras, with major ones on each continent and minor ones scattered throughout the world. So this is a great time then, in terms of in June, that channeling beneficial cosmic energies to enhance third eye, divine writing, connections with beneficial spirit guides for the highest good, your soul family. And while these energies are accessible to everyone, they'll resonate more with those who are open to them. And also, if those people, if people have like a strong soul contract with certain things too, but remember, everyone has the capability. It's just learning how to practice and getting to understand how to do it. So yeah. And then with June is also about individual energy upgrades. So these upgrades are unique to each person, focusing on the areas where you'll benefit the most. You'll receive the energies you're ready for when they are presented to you. Sometimes you might not be in the right place to accept an upgrade, and your higher self soul will put it on pause until the human is ready. Other times you might accept part of the energy, but the full amount would be too overwhelming. When you're ready, when you're really, really fully ready, you can integrate the energy offered to you. Personal upgrades can involve your spirit guides for highest good, working on specific chakras. You might also get your chakra system upgraded. You might get just different beneficial enhancing of spiritual gifts or strengthening also weakened areas of your energy. Whenever you receive an upgrade, conscious resting as opposed to unconscious sleeping is usually necessary. So I know sometimes people are like, why am I so tired? After they do like some energy work. And that sometimes is just conscious resting is just necessary. So that way your spirit guides for highest good, they need your body to be relatively still to complete this work. Sometimes after a session, people feel like, oh my God, I'm so energized. And during the session, the guides were able to complete the work then. It just really depends on how much energy work that you've done. Like I'm at a point now where I it's very rare that I have that sleepy feeling, and I'm usually really energized as soon as I start an energy session, and then I feel even tremendously more energized afterwards. But that's not saying that some days I don't feel that. It just depends on what's going on with the cosmic energies and also what is being called to be cleared and integrated. And I have just learned to really be patient with the process, that each time the sessions can be different and depending on what's happening in the world. And I just keep using tools to support. So just know that. And also just know that how your session was yesterday might not be how it is, next week or the week after. Just be in that growth mind mindset that each time there can be different experiences, and that's completely okay. Also, if you don't regularly include periods of meditation or stillness in your routine, you might feel even more fatigued, or even maybe feel like you're getting something is, just feel basically more fatigued, forcing you to rest and then receive your upgrades. So that's kind of sometimes what happens too, is that sometimes people are in resistance to resting. And so then they'll feel more fatigued, which just then creates a space for them to have to rest to receive their upgrades. So patient with the process, my friends. So June is about transcending. So June is about transcending personal cycles of unconsciousness or low vibration. With that, then, here is some more reflection. Is there someone or is there someone or a situation or something that always seems to bring out the worst in you? If so, this is a reoccurring low vibrational response that needs your attention. So this is a reoccurring low vibrational response that needs your attention. By examining it, you can find the best way to move beyond this inner conflict. You can also possibly use energy healing tools to maybe clear the non-beneficial energies, the tension energies, to then process, integrate, and shift to a higher vibrational frequency, which is really what that means when it says moving beyond the inner conflict, because then you're shifting to a higher vibrational experience. Other questions are, do you struggle with self-confidence or feelings of unworthiness? These are also cyclical. low vibrational thought patterns that can be cleared once you're bringing in the wisdom to then integrate the understanding, the realization. And then it's also calling for you to overcome this, to advance on your human, your spiritual journey. So this is coming in as then something to support you for the highest good, so that way you can actually evolve and advance on your journey. So remember, it's not right, wrong, good, or bad. There's an isness. And so it's then checking in with the isness of this business of like what's really happening in the consciousness of it, and what is the wisdom, what is the self-realization, and what am I being called to evolve, grow, and expand here. Also, even if there's if there's any kind of anger or depression that's lingered in your life for years, this is also other areas that are ripe for transformation. Okay, so the next theme goes right along with what I just said. Transformation, overwhelm, and clearing frenzied energy that might be blocking transformation. So transformation overwhelm can lead to cognitive fog, physical exhaustion, emotional numbness. It's essential to process this overwhelm or stagnant emotions. Dealing with change and transformation can create fatigue, which sometimes feels overwhelming, especially when we haven't had enough time to rest and integrate new energies. And also, too, sometimes even though every moment is a new moment and we're constantly in this flow of change energy, sometimes it can be really difficult for the human to want things to change. And so sometimes we get caught in non-beneficial patterns of attachment, of trying to hold on to something, which then can lead even to more non-beneficial resistance. And it can also just really create just more just dense energy for us, because we're in the resistance, which then can plummet our vibrational frequency even lower. The impact of transformation ripples out, creating a cascade of consequences that might sometimes hinder our progress in some ways, because people might be in non beneficial resistance of the transformation that they're actually seeking, for various reasons. Many people, also with all of this too, where we are in right now, many people are currently feeling pressure from various levels of change, whether on an energetic level, global scale, or in their personal lives. Even if your external world seems relatively stable, you're likely experiencing some degree of change fatigue. This can manifest as feelings of worn out, exhaustion, confusion, or generally disoriented due to the rapid pace of changes happening around us. Firstly, know that you're not alone in this. It is a shared experience for many. I mean, yesterday when I was working with the Patreon All Access group, the guys just kept showing a snow globe, and in it, like, this is Earth. You are in a snow globe. And Earth, when Earth is trying to shake out her negative energy to have it to be transformed and transmute, she's like shaking and moving, and all of us are in her snow globe, which means then she shakes her body, we all shake too. And so we can't, even though we might want to try to hang on to the past of how things are, Earth is also trying to progress in this now moment and move forward. And so the more that we use our tools for groundedness and alignment and shifting from lower to higher vibrational frequencies, the more it's just we're going to have more ease and grace in this experience, even when there's great challenges. And also knowing then in this snow globe that all in called Earth, we're not alone in this feeling. Like, we're all here participating in this experience. So it's a shared experience for many. And the key to it, though, is really pinpointing why you feel off balance. Using those self-realization tools, those mindfulness tools, doing the investigation, pinpointing why you feel off balance. And sometimes that can be challenging, considering everything happening globally. And even if you're not actively following it, the energy still permeates our surroundings. The collective energy seeps through the walls of our homes, influencing us. Even if we're not focused on current events, their impact lingers in the air. So, as individuals, we carry emotional reactions to these global events. So, everyone around you, those you interact with, and even the people you pass by daily, is affected. So the overwhelming nature of these times impacts our nervous systems and emotions. And so, when people say they don't follow the news or I don't want to hear it, like, we're in the snow globe together. It doesn't matter if you don't follow the news. It doesn't matter if you're not on social media. It doesn't matter if you are a hermit living in a cave somewhere on Earth. We are in a snow globe called Earth together. We are in this experience together. So what affects one side of Earth affects the other side of the Earth, because we are in this collective energy field together. We are having individual experiences within the collective energy field. So that's why then checking in to see how you're feeling, feeling overwhelmed by change, feeling overwhelmed by transformation, feeling overwhelmed by the idea of change or transformation, or even that it's possible. And you're not alone. While the sense of overwhelm likely didn't arrive with June, this month presents a valuable opportunity to address it. So take a moment to acknowledge it. Like, whew, I got too much happening in my life right now. Wow, there's a lot going on. And I know I can also say, also even with like globally things going on, I know in regard to, I live in Los Angeles, California, in the US, and in LA, last year there was a strike in the entertainment industry, and obviously before that we went through the pandemic. And so the entertainment industry in the United States, specifically in terms of California, Los Angeles, has really taken a hard hit. And I know a lot of people that have been struggling because they haven't had work. They've been executives, and some of them executive producers, some of the executives for networks, and they've been laid off, and some of them haven't had jobs for years. And now at a later stage in their life where they were working in industry for 20, 30 years, now they're considering, okay, what can I move into for another career? Because there's just doesn't seem to be at this point, maybe there will be in the future, there doesn't seem to be at this moment as many jobs. And so that is then causing just a lot of, possible stress, and having to make different decisions than you may have thought of. And so that can be overwhelm in terms of change and transformation, where you thought that your life was going on one path and you felt pretty good about where you were in your career and in your personal life. And now next thing you know, there's a pandemic, there's a strike, and now next thing you know, the job security that you thought that you had has really changed and altered, which then is affecting not only your professional life, but also your personal life, because you're having to make different decisions. And so that's then there's external things happening that can affect the internal. And that's why, really taking time to see, check in, how am I feeling with everything? What is happening? And letting yourself, acknowledge how you're feeling. And if you are in the Patreon Meditate with Me and All Access this month, we're also going to be going into doing several meditations and dowsing energy sessions, Reiki and dowsing energy sessions, to bring in tools on how to understand trapped emotions, processing the emotions, and then if they're ready to be cleared out, to support greater alignment and groundedness. But again, within all of this, it's really just what is going on in the internal, because whether it's, external demands or internal turmoil, it's taking those moments to have breaks, pauses, and then allowing yourself, once you're in that, to have readjustments. Perhaps you envisioned, May unfolding differently, but now you're realizing you're more fragile or uncertain than you anticipated. And the secret lies in offering yourself patience and grace. Because, y'all, for me coming into May, I mean, I definitely was like thinking that it's going to unfold a certain way. And then we're in it. I was like, whoa, there's so much cosmic energies. And I definitely had to revise and readjust, like, okay, what do I need to really focus on? And I had to really focus more on, allowing myself the resting time to integrate some of the cosmic energies coming in. Because even though I don't get as like, I'm going to fall asleep per se, tired, that kind of tired, I definitely still get, when the cosmic energies are super strong, I have this feeling of tiredness just to rest. And I know at this certain point that, what that means, that there's high vibrational light coming in, and there's a huge clearing happening individually, also collectively, possibly, and that things are needing time to integrate. You start to use the tools, but with that I had to adjust my calendar and also my work expectations too, in order to take care of myself, my human, to be able to integrate these energies that were coming in. And it really wasn't until the end of the month when I all of a sudden had a huge shift, and these bliss energies, I mean, these bliss codes that came in, I finally was like, wow, I feel amazing. And I still feel really like spectacular in that. But it doesn't mean that you're also not moving through other things, because you can be in more than one emotion at once, because we're multi-dimensional. So just remember that. And so and I just also want to say, sometimes too, when you're integrating these high vibrational energies, you can feel like you need to rest and feel this like tired per se, but you can still have energy. Like sometimes you get completely put out to sleep, but the more that you work with it to, to understand the energies and the discernment of it, the more you understand how to move through it. So with that, then, consider adopting small, regular practices to help reset your balance. Even with a packed schedule, tiny habit shifts can make a world of difference in bringing calm and peace to your everyday. Maybe upping your meditation game or making a point to get outside for a daily walk can really help boost your overall health. And remember that pushing through this time without self-care and allowing the energies to integrate might really lead to burnout, which is why, in May for me, I had to revise my work calendar, because I needed a lot more nature walks. I spent a lot more time meditating. I spent a lot more time resting to order to allow the energies to integrate. And once you understand the discernment of the feeling of it, you start to get like, okay, wow, these are cosmic energies coming in, and you start to understand that it's a different type of tiredness than it's time to go to bed. Although I will say though, sometimes the guides, will support you in feeling that sleepiness to go to bed, so they can do the work on you, so that your monkey mind's not so active, and you're just relaxed and allowing yourself to receive it for the highest good in terms of the clearing and then the upgrade. So that can happen. And that has happened to me. I mean, I've had so many different experiences with it. And I mean, there was one time I was in one of my Reiki 1, Reiki 2 retreats, and oh my God, I could barely keep my eyes open the entire weekend. It was so, I mean, I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my God, I pretty much was on the floor, like asleep during the moments for lecture times. I took Reiki 1, Reiki 2 many times too. And it wasn't, I think, until the third time for the Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 that I was actually able to, physically stay awake the entire weekend. And it just is because there was a huge clearing that was happening and the upgrade. I felt like, though, at that time, years and years before, when I was in college, I had mono, and I remember this moment where my parents had come up and my whole family was out to lunch, and I literally couldn't keep my eyes open, and I wanted to put my head on the table and fall asleep. And my parents were like, "Okay, we need to bring you to the doctor ASAP." And that's kind of how I felt in the Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 weekend, where I couldn't keep my eyes open. And then I took it again, and I had, I took it again, and I had a different experience with it. And then there's been other times where, I've also had other moments where I couldn't keep my eyes open, just completely out asleep. And then there's times when I'm just wide awake. That's more so now as I've done more and more energy work. But I will say though, with the cosmic energies, it is like completely, I mean, those energies coming in are so strong, so strong. And if you are somebody who is just highly aware, highly sensitive person, an intuitive empath, and you can feel them coming in, it is so strong that I tend to need to do a lot more resting and drinking a lot more water and meditating during that time to allow the energies to integrate. And then eventually when the shifting happens. But because we had so many coming in during May, it just didn't leave us much time to allow us for that rest to recover and then integrate the new energies and then the shifting. So my big shifting, because I had little shifting along the way in May. My big shifting really didn't come in until the end of May, and then I felt those bliss codes that we had talked about last month. Anyway, so June's theme is really, this next theme for June is then going to be getting into talking about the fast transformation. But with all of this, it is so important just to stay mindful of any feelings of overwhelm, ungrounded energy, or resistance to beneficial change. Even if you can't pinpoint why you're overwhelmed, recognize that the world is going through a lot right now, impacting all of us in various ways. Taking a moment to breathe and reset can help navigate these challenging times more effectively. And feel free to explore just different practices and find what resonates with you. And remember that self-care during formative periods is crucial for maintaining balance and well-being. And this goes into the next theme for June: accelerated fast transformation and shifting. So accelerated fast transformation and shifting, which I am all for that, friends, especially after May, where I'm like, can we have the accelerated fast transformation, please? So, whether it's happening to you or those around you, sudden changes might be on the horizon. If you're facing this, stay grounded and aligned, letting yourself shift from 3D to 5D for your highest good. Use tools to stay grounded and aligned. The key takeaway is things will eventually settle down, even if they initially seem jarring. It doesn't mean that there won't be situations that demand time and effort to navigate or that pose challenges for a while. However, in June, you may notice unexpected twists and turns, pivots, either in your life or in the lives of those close to you. That it could also feel shocking. It might feel shocking, sudden, and swift. And it's important to note that these shifts can bring positive outcomes as well. So even though they might feel shocking and sudden and swift, they can bring positive outcomes, which is the accelerated fast transformation and shifting. So this shift isn't necessarily negative. In fact, it could be quite the opposite. Something you've been struggling with might suddenly resolve or shift quickly. We'll talk more on that later on another one. But remember, the most important thing is to stay centered and things will smooth out, even if the change is shocking at first, because sometimes, y'all, the human can get really caught up in non-beneficial patterns, programs, or some sort of runaway train on storylines. And there could be a derailment on your divine design, and you're just not even in this space of presence. You might be caught in such an illusion that is taking you on a runaway train, that then something shocking comes in and happens, and it literally shocks you awake and it just wakes you up. It's bringing in the opportunity to wake up, and it shocks you back into presence, and you're like, oh my God, here I am. I'm present again. Whoa. And it's like shocked you back into being present. So that's what that's about. And then it can be really, there can be then positive outcomes that happen for that. So, and I've had several of these moments in my own life where I realized like there can be beneficial aspects of, the human becoming shocked, because it brings you into a beneficial portal of awakenedness. It offers an opportunity to awaken, to the truth of who you are, to release from that illusion, which then brings in the accelerated fast changes and shifting in the air. So this is a typical, given the current level of energetic chaos on the planet. And for those of you keeping an eye on the significant changes in the global power systems, even these systems are experiencing this chaos, because again, we are in a snow globe. We are all in a snow globe together. So it can often feel like we're out of control, or that we, the people, don't have a say in threatening events unfolding around us. Yet it is important to realize that everyone, even those who are more so per se in charge of the world's power systems, is going through this level of chaos right now. And that's why you have to bring in loving kindness and compassion, and recognize that, y'all, we are one, and we are one in this snow globe together. And also, with it, it does pay to have personal practices that keep you connected to yourself, your life, this moment, the day, the fact that we're breathing, the fact that we're alive. We don't actually know the day, my friends, that we're going to be, physically leaving this planet. So try to stay mindful about these things. And also know, if you have gone through something that is shocking and that it is bringing a positive outcome to your life, if you do Reiki and dowsing energy healing or any kind of energy healing, you can also ask to clear non-beneficial aspects of the shock, any residues, and also the non-beneficial aspects of any kind of shock waves, as well as the residues. Because even though there can be a positive outcome, there could be like 0.0001% negativity, and you just want to ask for that negativity be transformed and transmuted, so that way it's not lingering in your energy field. So in even though this year, my friends, even though this year has been chaotic and in many ways, just troubling on the global levels, the rapid transformation and shifting is in the air, and that can really be harnessed for positive outcomes. Many of you will see breakthroughs in June in areas that you've been struggling with for years, or certainly over the past 9 months. So as we move into June and July, there's going to be significant shift relating to the last 9 or 10 months on the planet, making it interesting to see how this will affect you personally. And I say, yes, please, for the highest good, with ease and grace, abundance, joy, peace, harmony, for the highest grace and gratitude. Thank you. All right. So the next theme is then really working with tools on how to handle conflict energy. So the next theme is about handling conflict energy. We can't overlook the distressing events occurring globally, from the wars to other troubling situations. While specifics can be sensitive, it's essential to address the conflict energy that's thick in the air. There's a palpable sense of division, with people being set against one another, intensifying our disagreements. And sadly, this is really proving to be one of our biggest weaknesses. In one of my meditations a couple of weeks ago, my guide team came in and was just talking to me about, in due course of humanity, one of the biggest weaknesses is handling conflict energy, and how then division can be so palpable that it can set us against one another. And If we keep clashing over our beliefs without embracing our diverse and multifaceted world, setbacks are inevitable. Navigating conflict energy is really crucial for several reasons. You might be feeling this conflict energy personally with someone or noticing it in your surroundings, or maybe you're witnessing it on the global scale and it's really deeply unsettling to you. Here's the key point, though. Many are feeling a conflict within themselves. The vibrations happening around us, we're not immune. And here's a scenario. Years ago when I was doing my official energy healing training, because I had been doing it since I was a kid, and when I started officially going and getting certified, there was a moment where I was having a conversation with one of my guides talking about energy healing, and this is what my guides had said. And that when you go to your coffee shop, because I like to go to my coffee shop, I walk there most days. Imagine you're going to your coffee shop and you go and you're saying hello to everybody, but one of your friends, that's one of the baristas, is having an off day. And you have compassion for that person, which is understandably, but then you go to drink your latte. And as you're drinking your latte, you're like, why do all of a sudden why do I feel really sad? And then my guide said, you just drank their sadness, because their energy, when they were making it, they were having a really heavy thought about sadness. And that energy went into the drink. And it's not right, wrong, good, or bad. It's the isness. You live in a collective experience. You are an individual in a collective experience. You are in a snow globe. And yes, you have your protection up. Yes, you do have your protection up. You are protected. But remember, you live in a collective experience, and you are here to learn how to be a creator, an energy alchemist. And so you're here then to be in this presence to understand like what is happening. You're multidimensional. So you can use tools to take a moment to ask that any non-beneficial energies are cleared from the drink and the vibration is raised. So then when you drink it, you're just tasting the delicious latte that you love. And then you're not going to feel any kind of sadness. You're not drinking anybody else's sadness because the energy was cleared before you drank it. Or another example is, and by the way, when that example was given to me, I was like, oh, that's motivating to me, because I'm somebody who is highly sensitive person, an intuitive empath. I'm an energy alchemist. I can feel frequencies. And so, do I want to sometimes be lazy and not ask for something to be cleared? Of course, I'm human. We are living in this human experience. But I have pretty much made it a regular practice to clear. If I'm out to eat, you probably have seen me take a moment to ask Reiki to clear the food or the water or whatever it is. I've really made that a habit, because those words, that conversation with my guides, I was like, oh, I get it. Like I really got it. And here's another example. So imagine walking into a room full of like really just upset, angry, fighting people. They're just really angry, and it's just everyone's like just shouting and angry. You wouldn't just leave feeling fine. You wouldn't. You would need to shake it off. You'll have to clear your energy using whatever methods work best for you. And so that is why learning energy healing is so important. And it's not about like, I think sometimes we get really caught in upset that somebody else might be upset and it's bringing in some sort of, stress vibe. We are here as an opportunity to be energy alchemists. And so with that, it's not right, wrong, good or bad, wherever you are in the vibrational scale. If you are feeling sad, loss, and grief, it's completely okay. So can you be the other person who's in loving kindness and compassion, and bringing the high vibrational energy of love and kindness, compassion, which then that can support the other person in waking up to like, oh, wow, I'm ready to process this sadness, and bring in the wisdom and bring in the compassion, and let myself shift. We're here to support one another. We are here to be bridges of light to one another. And it doesn't mean that we have to, take on each other's negativity per se, but it doesn't mean that in a collective experience that we're not affected by things. Because even if there's something going on the other side of the world, that negative energy, it still can affect you. So that's why learning how to do energy healing work can be really helpful for yourself, for your community, for your family, friends, as well as for the collective, because the more of us that are actively engaging in it, the more we can support the shifting. And then also just knowing then, because I've also seen sometimes people can get, where, I don't know, just sometimes as humans, we can get really upset with one another if somebody's upset, like, why are you upset? And we haven't really, it's almost like we need to emotionally mature to be able to be okay with other people being upset, and being able to really mind our groundedness and alignment, so that way we stay grounded and aligned and not lose our center, even if there's upset happening around us. And then if we are becoming affected by any kind of negative energy, just recognizing like, okay, on some level, for whatever reason, it might be subconscious, or you might not even be aware of it. It might be unconscious that you've accepted some level of negative energy, maybe in wanting to support transforming and transmuting it, and then not getting caught in blaming or pointing fingers, but just really just being an energy alchemist and recognizing that you have the ability to ask for the energy to be cleared, transformed, transmuted. You can reground, realign, and then you can shift from 3D to 5D or higher for your highest good. So with that, my friends, again, if you had walked into that room full of just upset people that are angry and fighting people, you would not leave feeling fine. You would need to shake it off. And also, when I say shake it off too, I imagine the Taylor Swift song, Shake It Off, shake it off, shake it off. So you'd need to shake it off. You'd have to clear your energy using whatever methods work best for you. And we're seeing this intense energy spread all over Earth. Yet there's a flip side. Many outlets, individuals, and groups are promoting positivity, transformation, and healing. So both energies coexist. So let yourself learn tools so that way you can be able to be in the side to promote positivity, transformation, and healing, and the shifting as well. And then with this, many of us are feeling the impact of conflict energy, which can often be internalized. So, you just want to check in to see how you are. There was a wave of just energy that came in where people were really feeling more insecure at the end of the month. And so check in, like, have you found yourself being unusually hard on yourself these past few months? Have you been feeling particularly down about different aspects of your life? If so, you may be experiencing the overpowering effect of the world's conflict energy. And it's essential to be really mindful of these feelings. If you've been unable to pinpoint why you've been self-critical, or why old self-judgment habits have resurfaced in the last 6 months, you may tend to internalize your emotions rather than express them outwardly. And so this internalization might make you tougher on yourself in response to global stresses. And remember, you might not even know that you have global stresses because it could be completely unconscious to you, or, it could be happening and you're just not aware of it. And that's why using meditation and the energy healing work can really support you in becoming aware of it, to catch yourself, to then understand what's being called to process and possibly shift for you. This month in the Inspiring You Patreon, we're going to be learning how to clear trapped emotions, becoming aware and learning how to release any non-beneficial energies and stuck emotions that are ready to release and are also possibly not yours. So, any personal tools and methods for clearing and resetting your energy. Use what works best for you. Conflict energy can also can be really enticing, but typically it is a low frequency energy. It's essential to recognize this and work on moving it out of your system to regain your balance. So you might have felt more scared or judgmental more than ever before. These are signs of conflict energy spreading and affecting you. Therefore, find ways to shake it off. If you need to listen to the Taylor Swift song, Shake It Off, do that. Also, you could do a Reiki and dowsing session or whatever is called for you. Find ways to shake it off and release these energies is crucial, especially those rooted in conflict. Conflict energy is active and fiery, which contrasts with resolution and centered energy. While conflict energy can sometimes lead to resolution, it's common for highly sensitive individuals to get caught up in it. And that's why you want to make sure to release yourself and clear yourself from it, because it can be a very it can be a very entangled web of non-beneficial energies that can kind of just suck you in, and you feel like you're in a kind of a cyclone of entanglement of energies. So I hope that then, just let yourself use tools, and I hope the insights can help you view conflict energy differently and handle it with greater care, mindfulness, compassion, love, and kindness, and also with importance. So the next theme is, my friends, you are no longer the same. And it may sound like, yeah, okay, I know, Henry, that's obvious. We're changing every day, but think about it for a moment, because often I'll hear people say, like, I just heard it the other day when I was in the grocery store. Somebody was like, I just want to go back to a different time when it was X, Y, and Z. And they were just romanticizing about this time, which maybe that time was amazing, but you might also be romanticizing it and looking at it from that romantic lens. But regardless, though, you don't want to cheat yourself out of the path that you've been on and how much you've learned, grown, and evolved, and how much, the possibility of where you are now and how you are now. God, that growth there's treasures, there's a treasure trove there. And so you have to really take time to acknowledge it. You are no longer the same. You are no longer the same. And it's, sometimes people will wonder, who am I? But looking at it from you are no longer the same as you were yesterday, into today, into tomorrow, because we're living moment to moment. Each moment, it's about bringing that mind into presence with the physical body to have a moment of being present. And you are no longer the same. When you have that first moment of being present, that peace energy, holy moly, you are definitely no longer the same. So this shift highlights reflections also on just wants, needs, habits, because we're navigating, again, a time of massive global changes, not just in systems, but also in every aspect of our life. This upheaval creates a ripple effect, shaking you to your core. And that also is like the shock energy we're talking to. Sometimes the shock energy comes in that shocks us, that awakens us. So for many of you, this may mean feeling uncertain about your identity, desires, or what truly matters. However, it also brings clarity on what truly is important. Your connection to self, your sense of safety, your connection with your loved ones, your friends, your community, shelter, the basics, food. It really brings in the simplicity of what's really, truly important. So if you've been feeling a little bit lost or questioning your desires with thoughts like, I don't even know what I want anymore. I used to feel so differently. I mean, I can't tell you how many moments I've had that in my life. I know that. I know that. Yeah. And so you're right in the heart of this transformative energy. That's transformation energy. When you start to bring in that questioning, I don't know what I want anymore. I used to feel differently. That starts to open up a beneficial door portal, if you will, that is then going to be bringing in the wisdom and the clarity. So there's no need to worry because the message here is clear. This is a significant and ongoing process. So you embrace patience with the process and with yourself. Trust the process. Be patient with the process. Trust that it's going to be for the highest good. We're currently experiencing major global changes that will continue until early 2025. So be patient, my friends. And it's fine if you feel unsure about your wants and needs right now. However, deep down, we all know that small daily things that matter to us. So focus on those, celebrate those, be in gratitude for those. So every day, I really try to go for a long nature walk with my dog. It really helps me feel grounded, centered, aligned. I just really love it. I also then, I head to the local main street over here, and I go to my local coffee shop, so I see community, I connect with people. There's several houses along the way that people are often out in their yards with their dogs. I say hello to them. I have treats for their dogs. Like, it just brings me so much joy to to go take these walks. But whatever brings you joy, celebrate that. If reading a book, taking time to connect with friends, loved ones, getting good night's sleep. I love getting good night's sleep and then looking at my Oura ring the next day and I'm like, yeah. Um, and then if my sleep is changing, I then can bring in like the self-realization questions, like what's happening here? So this period of change is fast and sometimes also understand can be period of change is fast and sometimes destabilizing, but embracing it will help it pass more quickly because resisting it will only make it feel longer. And I've definitely been there on that one. So make sure to let yourself really lean into patience and know that that can really support you through this time. Also, because sometimes when things are, when you talk about manifestation, when things are being done behind the scenes, there might be some things that are working in coordination that just the divine timing hasn't been in place yet. So that's why you also have to be patient. All right, the next theme is miracles, receiving miracles. So this month, there is a powerful and stable high frequency on earth helping to clear low energies. This high frequency is paving the way for what might seem like miracles to unfold in your life. You might witness events you've prayed for, outcomes you thought were impossible. Maybe you had a big dream or a goal, something that you thought would take years, and now all of a sudden it's happening much faster than you imagined. So this relates to the theme of rapid transformation from earlier this month. So the rapid transformation, it's about positive things. It's about the positive side of things shifting quickly. That strong and stable high frequency enabling miracles, bringing forth those remarkable turn of events, right? So additionally, you might find yourself becoming a miracle worker this month as well. So check in to let yourself be open to the possibility of receiving the miracles, my friends, because it is really amazing. I've had several sessions with clients where, a client will bring something in and then, I'll ask the guides, is it something that, we can look into or work on? And one in particular situation, which I did get my clients pay to share this story. My client came in and it was probably in, so this goes to the story of also being in patience, right? So my client came in last year, 2023, in August. And I think they said August. So it was August. And they asked that we were talking about many things. And on the list was they were wondering about a family member that had not been seen or heard from in years. No one in the family had seen or heard from them. And there was just a real great concern that possibly this person maybe, died. And so, yes, I have psychic abilities. Yes, I'm, I'm clairvoyant. I have several of the clairs. And so, but that information, it's a very it's a situation that you have to be so responsible with, because someone is in a space where they're so worried and concerned and they're scared and okay, so can we get the information? So then I asked the guides, can we get the information? You always respect free will. So spirit guides for highest good, can we do the work? Can we ask about, this person that this client is asking about, always respecting everyone's free will. And so the guide said, yes. And that person's higher self soul said yes as well. Their human had said yes on that subconscious level. So respecting free will. And then the guide said that this person was indeed alive still. And so they said it to me, and I had a moment where I was like, ooh, okay. And then I was a little bit like nervous about sharing this with my client, because my area is really, even though I'm psychic and I have I get a lot of psychic information. My area really is about supporting clearing dense energies to allow shifts to happen in terms of regrounding, realigning, supporting people in connecting to their own intuitive abilities, psychic abilities, for people to get information, to support clearing and processing emotions. Because I'm an intuitive empath and highly sensitive person, I have my relationship is really strong to the emotional, the mental body in conjunction with the physical body, and then in working with the guides to support, asking the guides in them doing their work to clear, to support a person, resetting and regrounding, realigning, so that way they can be in their divine design to unfold. And I work with, specifically in regard to the soul, connecting in to, what is somebody's soul potential that is being called to be actualized here in this physical world, and understanding divine designs. And I also see Akashic records. I see past lives. I see also ancestors. Ancestors for the highest good often come too, so I can see generational aspects. So anyway, the guide said that this person was alive, and I felt nervous. I felt nervous to share that information, and it took like 5 times. And one of my guides is Jesus. He's been one of my guides since I was a child, and it's not per se about religious or anything like that. It's really about like I look at him as like an older brother, or at times like a parent, really like supporting me in different ways. And so he came in, and sometimes he'll have this stern voice where give the information. And I heard it, and I was like, oh, and he's like, I know that you feel nervous. Give the information. She needs to hear it. I took a deep breath, and I said, the guides are saying that your loved one is indeed alive. But currently, right now, his energy marker is he's off grid. His energy is, he's sometimes in the energy world, it's almost like you can hide your energy frequency and hide your GPS. And so that's kind of, so anyway, so then the guides were saying, we can ask to work with his guides and his higher self soul and is human, that when he feels comfortable, that he can come back from being off grid and come back on grid. And he then will be able to be, it's almost like you're then able to, your energy then is able to be GPSed again. So that way, with that, we can then set the intention that if it's, a peaceful and in a harmonious way, that however this loved one feels comfortable, that he can show up somewhere that another loved one will be, so that way they can have a reconciliation, that the family understands that this person is alive. And so, in the asking, you're just asking for the most peaceful resolution for everyone, for the highest good, because you're always respecting free will. And so we did that in the session. And honestly, I had no idea how it was really going to turn out, because you're in that instant of being guided, and then you just let go, and you let go and allow the unfolding to happen. So then 6 months go by, and then I do a session with my client in sometime in March, and my client is telling me all kinds of things, and kind of just says this in a throwaway statement, like, oh yeah, my loved one like showed up. And I was like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? And it was a miracle. It was a miracle. And so the theme coming into this month is also miracles in a greater way. And I started seeing these miracles coming in from seeds that were planted last year, and then miracles starting popping up in March, in April, in May, and even more so now coming into June, so much so that the guides said this really needs to be a theme. And so here's the story of what my client said. So this loved one, this is how this is how it happened. My client's cousin, who lives in another state, like 3,000 miles from where we are, needed to go to a bookstore, which, by the way, so many of us just order books online now, but my client's cousin went to a bookstore, and my client's cousin was in a bookstore and had finished up and was trying to go left, but then there was someone that was like obstructing the way. And so I just imagine that the client's cousin was like, I can't go left. And when you're just trying to get out and you're like, why is this happening? And then my client can't go left. My client's cousin can't go left. And then he turns to the right to try to get around the obstruction that was happening. And as he's going right around, all of a sudden he catches a glimpse, and he sees my client's loved one that my client was inquiring about. And it's a miracle. And he came back on grid. And it was a peaceful reunion, and it was in the perfect way that it happened, all for the highest good. And it's a miracle. And that's where, when you're asking for things, you're asking it for the highest good for everyone, not just one person, for everyone. Because again, we live in an individual and a collective experience, and you want the vibration to be raised to a high vibrational frequency for all, from 3D to 5D, asking for this to be beneficial for everyone. And it was a miracle. It was a miracle. And so I started seeing these little things where I'm like, that is amazing. Like that is amazing. Amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. And I was just so happy for my client, and so happy for my client's family, because like the relief that they have, and now, they're in touch in the way that they need to be. And it's a peaceful, resolution in terms of all the parties being able to reconnect in a beneficial way, in harmony. So miracles, my friends, miracles, 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 miracles. And just know that, This month, there is a powerful and stable high frequency working on Earth, helping to clear lower energies. I mean, it's been here, but this month it's even more powerful, and we've already started seeing it from the last few months. So this high frequency is paving the way for what might seem like miracles to unfold in your life. You might witness events you've prayed for or outcomes you thought were impossible. And maybe you had a dream or a goal or something that would take years. And now all of a sudden it's happening much faster than you imagined. And that relates also to the rapid transformation from earlier this month. And also with all of this too, you could also have sudden like clarity, resources, or ability to significantly help not only yourself, but someone else, because you might find yourself becoming a miracle worker this month. Like my client in that experience, she had like a list of all of the things that we were working on and discussing. And my client became a miracle worker in connection to her family. And so you might think like, wow, I really can make a difference here. And you might really make a difference here. You could become a human angel, delivering miracles to others or even groups, to yourself, to others, to groups. More and more of us feeling called to stand up in different ways that are beneficial. Or saying like, hey, we need to think of a new way here because it's not supporting all. So your miracle this June might be discovering a new level of power and clarity for yourself or within yourself. You might feel a strong desire to become an earth angel, to help yourself, others, and to see what positive changes you can bring. And this isn't just a theme for June, because like I said, I've been seeing the signs for the last few months, and obviously the seeds were planted from last year from this one client, but that also shows you to be in patience, because sometimes things have to really be lined up too. So be patient. So your miracle worker this June might be discovering the new level of power and clarity within yourself. You may feel a strong desire to become an earth angel, to help yourself, others, and see what positive changes you can bring about. And this isn't just a theme for June, it is a trend that will continue on. And I hope you can harness this energy, inviting it into your life, spreading a bit of that incredible light transformation, that magical light transformation for you and those around you. Because it is just so incredible. I mean, when my client said that to me, I was like, that is amazing. I can't tell you the heart joy. My God, like it's amazing. Miracle energy is amazing. So the next theme, and this is going to be the last one for this bit. The next theme is about highlighting the importance of perspective and also being willing to be in growth wise mindset, specifically multidimensional growth mindset perspective. Because y'all, my friends, who our humans can really get caught up in hanging on to one perspective, one side. We are multi-dimensional. It is multi-sided. And I'm going to give you an example of something. So on social media right now, there is an optical illusion that's going around. And if you're interested, it is on the Inspiring You Instagram page at inspiringyou.co. And this one is about, it's a coffer illusion. The coffer, and it's COFFER, the coffer illusion involves a pattern of lines and shapes that can be seen as either rectangles or circles. Initially, most people see a grid of rectangular panels, but with a shift in focus, they may suddenly perceive circles. This illusion highlights how our brains can interpret the same visual information in multiple ways. Seeing things from multiple perspectives is really important. Just like the coffer illusion, where you can spot rectangles or circles in the same pattern, real life situations can look different depending on how you view them. So if you want to check it out, head to the inspiringyou.co page, Instagram page. And if you do check it out, Fix your eyes in the middle, wait 5 seconds, and you'll see the circles. You have to let your eyes rest and focus on the middle. You have to be patient. And then eventually, from what I experienced, 16 circles show up. It is so amazing. You may want to blink, or you might get restless from looking at one spot, but relax and be patient. And seriously, friends, when I first did this, my brain was like, yeah, not there. Where could there be circles? All I see is straight lines horizontally, straight lines vertically, not a single curved line anywhere in sight. How can there be circles if there are nothing but right angles in the image? So I did what any incredible, self-respecting, social media savvy person would do at this point. You start scrolling the comments to see if anybody could explain how they saw the circles. And well and behold, there are a ton of people who did and had suggestions. And there seems to be other ways to see it as well. Let me know if you do, but that's how I saw it. You do have to be patient with the process. And the first time I did it and the circles appeared, I was like, oh my God. And then I blinked and they went away. And then I was like, okay, let me reset and let me get patient again. And then I was able to hold it for longer. It's kind of like mindfulness meditation, where at first, you might have all these thoughts in your head and you're focusing on your breath. And then you might all of a sudden be able to focus on your breath for like maybe 1 second. And the next thing you know, you're back to being in your head and all these thoughts. And then you come back to focusing on your breath, and maybe it can be for 2 seconds. You're just expanding the process of being able to focus. So I kind of felt like it was a mindfulness exercise. So that really, though, what I'm talking about, though, for this theme is multi-dimensional growth mindset perspective. So it's the multi-dimensional growth mindset perspective, where letting yourself release from any kind of rigidity of what you think that you're seeing or the illusion of what you think that you're seeing, and allowing yourself to expand in consciousness and letting yourself shift to that higher vibrational frequency in terms of shifting from 3D to 5D in terms of the consciousness, and letting yourself expand in consciousness to be able to see different aspects. Because, the guides have been saying more and more, shifting to the multi-dimensional growth mindset perspective. Embracing different viewpoints helps us understand more, solves problems better, connect with others on a deeper level, and it makes us more open-minded and helps us to make just more beneficial, smarter decisions in some ways, because we have a more open growth mindset, whether it's in our relationships, at work, or dealing with big issues in the world. Looking at things from different angles makes everything clearer. So looking at things from different angles makes everything clearer. So really, let us embrace the multidimensional perspective of existence. And with that, I say that, though, and I'm going to say one other caveat with this. It doesn't mean that if somebody else has different beliefs than you, it doesn't mean that you have to, I'm going to take on their beliefs. It's just about being able to be bridges of light to each other and recognize that we all have different ways of beingness here in our snow globe on Earth. And there might be some wisdom of how somebody's living that you're like, oh, that's interesting, I'm going to try that. And it doesn't mean that you're going to take on their beliefs per se, or they're going to take on your beliefs per se, but you can be bridges of light to each other to learn, grow, and evolve from one another. So that way, wherever you are in this world, then it could make your life possibly even expanded in a whole nother way that's for the highest good, and bringing in some sort of solution that maybe that you've been trying to figure out something, and maybe somebody on the other side of the world figured it out, or just brings a broadening of an understanding on something, some kind of wisdom that you've been trying to figure out, and somebody else downloaded something. And again, it doesn't mean that we have to become like one another. You can be different from one another. You can be different minded from one another, but you still can come to an experience where you are bridges of light with one another, and you respect that each of you may have certain gifts and tools and insights to support one another. because the more that we focus on being bridges of light to each other and supporting one another, and also respecting, like, wow, what are your interests, and being curious about, like, how are you living? One of the things I loved about working in television, in reality television, and doing documentary series was I got to go around the world and see how people were living. It was so amazing to me to walk into somebody's house and to see, like, how did they set up their house? What kind of food do they make? And it was so fascinating. And it doesn't mean that I was going to go home and cook those dishes. I loved seeing how other people were living. And I was curious how they decided to spend their time in this physical world. And they love what they're doing. And I'm happy that they love what they're doing. Doesn't mean that I have to do what they're interested in, but I can enjoy the experience of seeing them happy. Maybe they decided to. There was one reality show that I worked on that somebody actually chose to live off grid, like up in the mountains with like there was no running water. There was no, there was an outhouse, and it was interesting to follow this person for several days. But wow, I mean, every morning they would have to wake up, and the first thing they would have to do is melt the ice to have water to make breakfast. I was like, wow, the amount of commitment they put into in doing this. I was amazed at this. And then also it's super cold in there in the morning. So they have to, the day before, they're making sure they have enough wood. So that way they can light the wood stove as soon as they wake up. So that way they could have heat in their place, which then that's also going to then generate, they're going to be able to use that for cooking their breakfast later. And while their stove is heating up, they go and get ice. So then they can melt the ice. And so then they melt the ice. So they can have not only breakfast, but also wash up, because they need the water to be able to wash up, because everything freezes overnight. I was just amazed. I was like, wow, this is so fascinating that this person is choosing this life. And it was interesting. And every day we would have to take snowmobiles to get up the mountain to go follow this person in their routine. And I was like, that's amazing. So for me, though, I was like, man, that's a commitment, because in order to go to town, you have to take, it's like, I don't know, maybe it was like a 30-minute, 40-minute snowmobile ride up the mountain. And it's like really off grid. There's no civilization around. And so you have to take a snowmobile ride, and then you get down to this parking lot, and then it's like an hour ride into town. So maybe it could be, depending on the weather, it could be like a 2-hour trip into town. Holy moly. Like, that is amazing to me this person loved that. This person loved that life. For me, though, I was totally interested in following this person for a couple of days. But if I had to do it for like a year, ooh, y'all, I like to live, where I live. There's a main street I can walk to that is about like 15 minutes away. I can ride my bike to the store. I like this for myself in terms of certain modern conveniences. I like having certain modern conveniences, and I like that. But it was interesting for me to see somebody who really wanted to explore living without modern conveniences. Like, that was cool. And this person was really committed to it. And I learned a lot about, living off grid. And that was really cool for me too. But it doesn't mean that I want to live like that. And it doesn't also mean that I have, when you're looking at, like, when people are choosing different paths, I just love that this person chose their path. And yeah, it can be completely different than mine. And I can still be a bridge of light where I am completely enjoying sharing space with somebody, talking about what I love and hearing what they love, and walk away feeling like I've just had a really beautiful conversation, and my heart is full of just love for being in this experience of this humaning, that we're all here. and that, we have more similarities than differences. And even if we have differences, our differences, we can come to respect that we're making different choices and be curious about each other, about our choices, and just be grateful that there's just so many options of things to do here on earth. So being bridges of light to another, and then also really shifting into this multi-dimensional growth mindset perspective that really can help us to, really grow in terms of our wisdom, and being bridges of light to one another to support in really shifting more so into that unity consciousness, and then being able to respect, one another in ways that, how we're showing up and being here. And also with that curiosity and wonder, you just never know. Like there might be something even greater with, a certain number of people deciding to be called to live, in a certain way without modern conveniences. Maybe there's a certain amount that we need energy wise on this earth that they're being called to support, cultivating something on earth in their divine design. You just never know. And there's just different aspects. And with divine designs, sometimes you might get information about yours or someone else's, but sometimes you might not get the information until it's really happening, because in the human experience, we can sometimes get caught up in like the grasping mind, or we can get caught up in the information as opposed to just staying present to let ourselves receive it for the highest good. So, with that, my friends, that is the June energy forecast. Again, if you would like even more information, you can head to either the paid podcast or the Patreon Inspiring You. And there you will also find the dowsing, which is accompanying to this. And that's in the all access for the Patreon. And I got to tell you, if you have never done a dowsing, dowsing has been transformative in my life. It's probably one of, it's like the top tool that I use. With that though, let's de-link before we go. So say this after me if this resonates with you. I asked to break the links with this talk. I asked to break the links with this podcast episode. I asked to break the links with this I asked to break the Reiki and dowsing links with this, and I asked to break all the links from all the links, leaving only harmony and balance at either ends. I also asked to clear any residual energies being held in my body as a result of these links. I ask that light fill all the void cells, rejuvenating, refreshing, revitalizing for the highest good, and gratitude. May peace be with all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining. Until soon, my friends.